Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about 5 important things you want to consider before buying your first kayak. Now, before we get started, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell notification so that way you're notified the next time I put up a video. All right, so I want to talk about 5 important things that you want to consider before buying your first kayak. And there are no particular order in these 5 things, but these are the orders that I actually thought about it. So the first thing I thought about was the type of kayak that I wanted to purchase. So you have plenty of different types. You have a sit-in, you have a sit-on-top. I, for myself, wanted a sit-on-top kayak. Now, and inside of that, there are different things as far as those type of kayaks. I wanted a specific fishing kayak. So I wanted something that was made specifically for fishing. You have the recreational kind where you have, paddles, an actual hand paddle. I wanted a pedal kayak. So within that, I had to look at the type of pedal kayaks that were out there. So you have the Hobie type style kayak, and you have Hobie itself. You have Pelican that has a pedal kayak. There's a couple other ones. And then you have pedal with the rotor. It's a pedal, it's like almost like a bicycle, and it has a rotor on it. So those are the types of kayaks that I had to choose from. So I myself wanted the pedal kayak. I knew for sure that I wanted a pedal kayak. And so I had to think about a couple of other different things within that. So that was my first choosing. I knew I wanted a pedal kayak because, for one, with a pedal kayak, your hands free, you can maneuver back and forth. I can fish while I'm maneuvering my kayak back and forth. I can use my legs to where I'm, like I said, hands free, but your legs are actually stronger than your upper body. So they would last longer. It's just like riding a bike. So they last longer pedaling throughout the day. So if I wanted to go on a long trip, I would have the more energy to expend with the pedal kayak. So that's the first type, or the first thing that I had to consider when purchasing my kayak. Number 2, the second thing I had to consider when purchasing a kayak is where I wanted to fish. So since I am a freshwater and saltwater fisherman, I wanted something that I knew would be able to navigate all the types of water. So freshwater, it's really not that hard. Any type of kayak that you have is going to be able to suffice in freshwater, whether you're in the lakes, whether you're in the rivers, like the Hillsborough River, which we have here. Most kayaks are going to be fine. What I was really thinking about was the saltwater when I'm fishing. So I know sometimes it can get rough out there. So I have to look at the length of the kayak where I want to purchase. So for me, I watched a lot of videos, and that 10-foot range got a little iffy, but that 11 and longer was pretty good. So I chose a 12-foot kayak, and that narrowed it down. So now I have the type of kayak that I wanted, which was a pedal drive, and the length, which was a 12-foot at least kayak. Those are the range that I wanted to look at. So those are the 2 things, first off, that I had to look at. Number 3 was the budget. So now I had those first 2 considered. I had to look at the budget. So I knew I wanted a pedal kayak. I knew I wanted a 12-foot kayak. Now I had to look at the budget. And each of you have to think about what you can afford. I was not going to go and finance a kayak. You could do that. There's the Hobie 360. That thing runs about $3,700. It is very nice. You have all the bells and whistles on it, but I'm not going to go drop $3,700 on a kayak today. So what I had to do, I had to save up my money. So I was putting money aside, little development jobs that I was doing. I was just saving my money. And then that way I can take that chunk of money and go purchase what I purchased. So one of the things you can do is every paycheck, take $10 or $20 out of it, whatever you can afford. Just put that money aside, put it in an envelope. That's what I did. I just had a little envelope, said Kayak. I knew that's what I wanted to purchase. I put it aside so that way I built up my money. So that way, because you're supposed to be good steward of your money. That's first and foremost. And for those that are believers, that is a mandate from God. We should be better stewards with our money. So that's why my budget was the kayak that I purchased. So number 4, the fourth reason or the fourth consideration that you have to have is how and where you're going to stow or store your kayak. I have a video that I talked about how I actually stored my kayak. And so I had to look at in my facility where I'm at a townhome that my wife and I purchased, and there's an alleyway that leads to the back of our home. And I had to think about, okay, how am I going to get this kayak in and out of the gate, and is it going to be narrow enough or whatever else. So that also aided my thought process about purchasing my kayak. So I knew that I couldn't get an extremely wide kayak like the kayak that I really want. I'm just going to tell you guys, I want the Native Titan 12. But it's too wide for me to fit into my gate. Now, when we purchase our next home, which will be soon, I may go ahead and purchase my Native Titan 12. But I had to consider I had to get a narrower kayak. So that was number 4. So the 5th and final consideration that I had to think about was how was I going to transport my kayak? And one of the things that I knew, I have an SUV. So I know that it's not going to fit inside of my SUV. So I had to transport it on top of my SUV. So once again, I had to think about those kayaks that are a little bit wider or a little bit longer. They can be a little bit heavier. So like the Hobie kayaks or the Native Titan kayak, it's a little bit heavier. I have a Pelican Catch 130 HD. It's 78 pounds. That's it. With some gear in it, gets about 85 pounds. That's not hard to actually lift up on top of my SUV. But when you get to the Hobies or the Native Titan 12, the one I want, it's like 120 pounds. When you put gear in it, it pushes up to 140, and that can be a little strenuous trying to get it on top of your kayak or on top of your SUV, and then trying to strap it down. And what happens if one of the straps snaps, like what happened to me going across the bridge last week when I went fishing? It just popped. And luckily I had 2 straps on there. One of them was able to hold it, and I was good to go. So these are some of the considerations that you want to have before purchasing your kayak. So the first one is the type of kayak that you want to get. Number 2 is where you want to go fishing, whether saltwater, freshwater. Thinking about saltwater, is it you're going out offshore, you're going inshore? Number 3 is your budget. How is my budget gonna support me purchasing this kayak? Number 4, how and where that you're gonna stow or store your kayak. And the 5th one, how you're gonna transport your kayak going back and forth from your place of residence to the body of water that you're gonna fish. So I hope those 5 considerations helped you. That's my thought process on purchasing my kayak. Like I said, I hope it helped. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below so that way we can talk about it, and maybe your comments you have will help somebody else be able to purchase or go through the thought process of purchasing their kayak. Like I said, I hope that you like and enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and like that video. Subscribe to the channel, and also hit the bell notification, like I said, to be notified the next time I put up a video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, checking out my channel. Until next time, remember, God loves you, God bless you, and may He keep you. Until next time, peace, guys.